Hello, I'm Anthony, and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be sharing with you a very specific technique on how you can develop your Spanish listening comprehension. And I want to make sure that you know exactly where to go and what buttons to push in order to utilize this incredible technique. So here I am at my channel. I'm going to go ahead and click on this video here and going to make sure that I have it on pause. Let's make sure my face is at a better pausing image. So what you want to do is come down here to this gear and go to the playback speed. And this is where you will select the speed that you would like to listen to the story. So at the very beginning of the video, you have this explainer part where why you're listening to each of the different speeds in order to develop your listening comprehension. Oftentimes, or I would say anytime somebody's learning a new language, they feel that the person is speaking very rapidly. And the reason for this is we just don't we don't have the comprehension developed in our brain. If you've ever met anybody who's learning English, you perhaps have come across the same thing where you may be speaking at a normal level, but for them, it's fast, and so it's very normal. And this is where oftentimes people say, "Well, watch TV or listen to audios in Spanish in order to build this speed." But what happens is that there is a better way to do this. Now, the technique that I share with you is these stories. They all come with, or they will have different language levels. And the beginner one, it's A1. These stories have very basic vocabulary. And so at a beginner level, you should be learning these words to have your basic conversations. And so with this, you will be able to develop your listening comprehension for these basic words at the beginning. There will be more advanced topics. So what you want to do is start at the double the speed. You're barely perhaps going to understand, really, it's just going to sound obviously fast, and you may not be able to pick up on anything. But what this is doing is developing your brain, developing your learning comprehension skills in Spanish so that you are developing what we already have when it comes to English. We understand the words, we comprehend the words, but our brains are able to process the English language. Now you're training your brain to comprehend the Spanish language. And so what's going to happen is by time you go through all of listening to the story at a 2 speed, at a 1.75 speed, at a 1.5 speed, 1.25 speed, and then the normal speed, you're going to be amazed because you're now going to feel like they're talking at a normal speed and you're able to comprehend what they're saying. Now, you at the same time, you want to be building your vocabulary so that you do understand the words, the meaning of the words when they are being spoken. So not only are you developing your listening comprehension skills, but you should also be developing your vocabulary for every story. If there is a word that you do not have in your vocabulary, you want to make sure to write down those words and memorize it and know it so that when you are listening to the story, you know exactly what's being said. What's the story about? So that as you are listening to each and every story, you're building your vocabulary, you're building your comprehension so that when you are speaking to somebody in Spanish or listening to somebody in Spanish, you're able to have that conversation. You're able to understand what they are saying to you. And this is the way for you to develop your listening comprehension while reinforcing the words that you are studying in Spanish. So once again, you'll listen to the story at the very beginning. from the beginning to the end at 2 speed, then rewind it, listen to it again at 1.75 speed, and each step 1.5, 1.25, and then the normal speed. And once you get to the normal speed, um, there there are the transcription, the words of the story. Now, let me back up. What I forgot to mention is when you're listening to each of the speeds, the 2, the 1.75, the 1.5, the 1.25, your eyes are closed. Close your eyes and focus intently on listening to just try and recognizing the words. There's no other stimuli. You're focusing very intently on trying to understand what's being said. So while you're listening at 2 and all the other speeds that are very fast, you may not pick up much. But as you're developing the meaning or learning the meaning of the words, you're going to start catching on to what's being said. That by the time you get to a normal level, you can hear what's being said better. So close your eyes through every one of the speeds. And then once you get to the normal speed, you can watch the video that has the words in the video. Now, one thing, these options are available here. This is what it looks like on a desktop. On a mobile phone, you will have a slider. So you still go to the gear icon and you look for the playback speed, and you'll see 2.0, I believe you'll see 1.5, 1.25, and normal. If you don't see the 1.75, you actually have to move the circle to 1.75. And that's on a mobile phone. So perhaps that's where you're at now. When you go to playback, you may not see the 1.75. You actually have to move the lever to 1.75. Now, the video comes with the words of the story. Now, you can also, there's the closed captions. I prefer the words because they're much bigger and you can follow along with them. So that's why I have provided the words. But you can also utilize the closed captions and just look at that. But once again, I encourage you to build your vocabulary by writing down any words that you do not recognize in the story and keep listening to the story over and over and over again until you know all the words that are being said, you know the meaning, and when you get to a normal speed level, you understand it completely. And as you continue to do this, you're going to find yourself hearing that you're not going to feel like people are speaking very, very rapidly, and you're going to be able to understand what's being said to you. This is also going to improve your speaking skills. And of course, you will begin to enjoy listening to Spanish, watching movies, watching series, and be able to understand what they are saying. Because they technically, in the Spanish language, they're speaking just like you and I do in English. But we don't have the Spanish comprehension. Our brain, the area of language in our brain is not developed for the Spanish language. So now you have what you need in order for you to build your Spanish listening comprehension skills. All right. So once again, this is on the desktop. Listen to the story over and over again, build your vocabulary, and then go to the next video, listen to that video, and repeat it all, build your vocabulary, and you will begin to see other videos that are of all the different language levels, from beginner all the way to advanced. All right. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing about your success in developing your ability to hear the beautiful language of Spanish. Thank you.